Project 21 member, publicist, and political activist Whitley Yates. It's great to have you both on this morning. Happy Monday. Morgan, I want you to take a listen to what a guest had to say just the other day on MSNBC.
We lay out the fourfold interconnected threat that white rural voters pose to the country. First of all, and we show 30 polls and national studies to demonstrate this. So we provide the receipts in Chapter 6. They're the most racist, xenophobic, anti-immigrant, and anti-gay geodemographic group in the country. Second, they're the most conspiracist group. QAnon support and subscribers, election denialism, COVID denialism and scientific skepticism, Obama birtherism. Third, anti-democratic sentiments. They don't believe in an independent press, free speech. They're most likely to say the president should be able to act unilaterally without any checks from Congress or the courts or the bureaucracy. They're also the most strongly white nationalist and white Christian nationalists. And fourth, they are most likely to excuse or justify violence as an acceptable alternative to peaceful public discourse.
Not a lot of pushback there.
Wow.
Bet he's a lot of fun at Thanksgiving, huh? And fifth, no, we only have time for four. Morgan, what do you make of that?
Honestly, this just breaks my heart, knowing that this man is a professor who is educating our youth and our next generation on college campuses. You know, when I go and I interview a lot of college students, they say that political division is the worst problem facing our generation, yet we have professors like this that are allowed to teach our next generation and continue the divide. What I find disgusting is how he names off all of these words to describe, you know, white Republicans, yet there are no checks and balances to what he's spewing, because I think if it was up to him, he would take away all rural area of voters. And we all know that all of these names are just names and they hold no weight anymore in the dictionary, especially when there are professors and people on the left like him that continuously call conservatives racists, homophobes, xenophobes, and we all know it's not true.
Yeah, so as you mentioned, the author of this book, he is a college professor. He teaches at the University of Maryland, Baltimore County. Whitley, to you, how concerning is this, that this man is teaching classrooms full of students?
I mean, I think it's very concerning because in actuality, what he's saying is that people from rural communities, and a lot of these people, specifically in my home state of Indiana, these are farmers. They're the backbone of this country, are a threat to democracy. And I think that you have to be very, very careful when you're labeling people and perpetuating negative stereotypes and caricatures, specifically when you're supposed to be a professor of a higher education institution. Because the truth is that all Americans are participating in democracy. And just because you don't like the way they vote doesn't mean that they are doing some dereliction to the democratic system.
Such a good point. He wrote a book called White Rural Rage, which, just picture yourself at like Barnes and Nobles. You know, you're trying to pick out a book for, you know, to read over the summer or whatever, and you see that. You're going to be like, that's a good one. I'm going to grab that one for the beach.
Wait for that.
All right, yeah, take off the sleeve. You know, people are like, huh, it's kind of intense. Morgan, this was something over the weekend. This is the U.S. military. Again, recruiting is down nationwide. It's been that way for 3 years. Take a listen to what a transgender Space Force Lieutenant Colonel, B-Farm, had to say to members of the U.S. Air Force Academy.
I'm going to focus a little bit more today on my story and that of transgender service members and how and why that fits into the picture of why inclusion matters. Why does it matter to us as a military? Why is it not a negative that some people may believe it to be? And how do we as leaders use it to enhance mission accomplishment?
All right, so that's Lieutenant Colonel B-Farm there. What do you make of that? And maybe more importantly, what do our adversaries think when they see that?
Exactly. What do the other countries think of the United States of America when they see these videos surface of these transgender colonels or different service members that we have? I think they look at America like we are a joke, and, you know, it's not worth them even trying to fight us over it because they know that our military is weakening as the years go on, because we do have taxpayer dollars that are instead funding this woke garbage like DEI, like gender theology in the military. Why don't we instead try and intimidate our other countries instead of teaching this crap to a bunch of our service members? I find it really disgusting and disturbing, honestly, that we have these men that want to fight for our country and our freedoms, and instead they're being forced to listen to this kind of garbage within their training. So I think this should be entirely removed from our military. Also, I know that this colonel also hosts and is the head of the LGBTQ kind of ally sector within the Air Force and the Space Force who continuously is making these Pride Days. So I definitely think that they're doing this intentionally, and it's weakening our military, and we're seeing the effects of that.
Morgan McMichael, Whitley Yates, thank you so much for being with us this morning. We appreciate you breaking that all down. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
All right, coming up next here.